And a few years ago, me and a few other friends created Portland Clean Air, which is a group focused on direct outreach and giving people the research they need to be able to become active citizens, lobbying for themselves and not having to go to or trust lobbyists that participate in the revolving door of politics. And so what we do is we have this website, portlandcleanair.org or pdxcleanair.org, and we requested all of the permits and environmental reviews for every polluter. These are known as air contaminant discharge permits for all of Multnomah and Washington Counties. This was over 100 of them. And we scanned. But it took us over a year of battling with DEQ because they didn't want people to know what was in these permits and these reviews. And because at first they wanted to charge us thousands of dollars just to get access to them. And so we said, well, this is for the public. We're just going to put them on our website because when we went to your website, we found they weren't there. So why isn't this on your own website? So we could just tell them to go to your website. And they said, well, we don't have the money to scan them. And says, well, how much would that be? And they're like, oh, this is like a few $1,000s, and we'll charge you for it. And we were like, how about we go in with our own scanner and scan it? And then they were like, oh, if you're going to do that, can you give it back to us when you're done? The story of the DEQ is strange. It's surreal talking with them. They've been pretty well captured by industry at this point, and I think one of the main reasons for that is the Environmental Quality Commission appointed by the governor is not doing their job. And I think we should ask for all of them, because the way it works is the DEQ actually, the director is appointed by the Environmental Quality Commission, and they're in turn appointed by the governor. And so the EQC is basically the board of directors. And what we need to do is replace the board of directors of the DEQ, and get them all to resign, and have a process to appoint them with members of the community who are going to be active and approve better benchmarks, more realistic ones. For example, the diesel particulate benchmark is like 33 times worse than California's for no reason. We should be looking at the California benchmarks and copying them. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the permits and why they're so important. What we do is we go door to door and on street canvassing, and we tell people, here's a map, here's where all the polluters are, here's how you can get access to their permits, because it used to take weeks to get the permits and you had to pay money. That's why we did the request in the first place. And we tell them, get involved, look at the permits, and see how you can get involved. And complain, and be your own lobbyist, basically. And so basically, there are 5 levels of permits. You may have heard something called Title V permits. These are the biggest polluters, like precision cast parts and Intel types. And those are managed actually by a lot of the EPA manages a lot of that process. But there are all these other permits at the lower level called standard and simple permits that the DEQ manages. And these were all the permits that were not posted online, and yet they're major polluters. And Bullseye Glass, for example, was one of these permit holders. And so we didn't even really know what was in their permit until we actually went and got it. And amazingly, since we finished the scanning process around December, January, it was around February when the news broke. And we had the permits available, and we didn't have to wait 2 weeks to get the permits. So we were able to point to, hey, look, they're using chromium, for example. And the neighbors got really riled up about that and got chromium stopped. So that was pretty amazing.